Questions for Jonah?
Jonah, last year when you and Adam were visiting the locker room, and when you walked away, he told me, it was early, he goes, he's going to be an exceptional player. And I just asked him about that because you're playing well and your role is growing. And he said he sees a lot of you in him. I'm just curious about your relationship with Adam and how he's helped you through your maturation process, please.
Adam's always been a great role model for me, especially last year coming in, getting thrown in the fire. It's crazy that I've actually stolen some stuff from him, and that's what I kind of like to do. Like, I've stolen things from Max, I've stolen things from him, and kind of incorporated them into my game. I'm really appreciative of him, and he got me my first sack. I'm always in debt to him forever. My plan is to hopefully get him some sacks too, because that's what he's done his whole career is, get the people next to him better. A lot of credit goes to AB. He's really helped me. I was really just talking to him earlier before I came in here, just asking him about, earlier on in his career, being better at this, and how did he get better at that? Where he lacked at, how did he get better in this area, so on and so forth. And, to hear that come from you, it means a lot because AB's a great player. He's been in this game for a long time. He's been around some great players, great coaches. Been to the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl. And to be able to, watch after him and take things from him and be able to learn from him and his mindset is, I think, very important for me.
Jonah, when you look back at last year's experience, how important was it for you to, in your own mind, kind of establish a baseline for yourself? It's going to grow from there, but just a baseline of NFL success for you as you go now into year two.
So from last year, last year I was just out there trying to get on top of the game, coming in late from training camp. I came here first the week before we played, week one, and just trying to learn the plays. I was trying to learn our philosophy on the defense, how we operate, how do we attack offenses, and, being able to now transition to this year where I'm still under the same coaches on the defense, and being able to stack on top of last year. I'm very comfortable in the defense. Even though we changed some things, I'm still used to these coaches, how they coach. I know their mindset. I know what they want to see. I know how they want me to be out there and play. And especially learning my brothers on the D-line, being next to Max and AB and Malk and all them boys, just understanding how they're about to play and knowing how I'm going to fit off of them, and having good communication. We have good ways of telling each other what's about to happen, and I'm excited, and I feel much more comfortable out there compared to last year for sure.
Talk about last year. Can you just talk about, does your motor, I guess, intensify knowing that last year you're kind of coming in trying to learn the plays, but now you're kind of expected to potentially be a starter for this team? Does it change anything at all, or does it stay the same?
I think one thing that has changed a little bit is my confidence in myself. Last year, especially as a rookie year, and the situation I was in, I was trying to catch up. I felt like I was so far behind. And this year, one thing I think has changed, and I've talked to PG about this personally, is having unbridled confidence. And I'm still trying to get into that mode. And it's happened sometimes where at practice I'll get into a mode where you feel like nobody can block you, and that's something you can't really coach. That's something that comes from experience that I feel like a lot of dominant NFL players can say that they felt that way. And that's and AB even talking about this. It's your attitude. It's about having that feeling, knowing like you're about to go whoop the person in front of you. And I think that's probably one of the biggest changes I've had from last year. Is I've gained a lot more confidence. I'm not saying that I'm the best in the world, all this, but I'm saying like it does make a big difference. Having that confidence of visually seeing yourself, what you're about to do, anticipating what the offense is about to do, and understanding how you're about to attack it and make a play.
For you having the opportunity you have right now for this team in particular, being a Vegas guy, how kind of cool is that? Is that something you've been able to wrap your head around?
It means everything to me. A lot of the time, I'm not really thinking about it, but there will be a lot of times where I'm walking through the facility and I look at the logo and I'm just like, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, I would have never thought this. Like, this is a dream come true, and it means so much to me to be able to represent this organization in my hometown, in my city, and my family is so close to me. Like, my mom was literally at my house the other day, cleaning my house because she knows it's camp time, so the house is a little dusty. And she came through, she cleaned, she had the Earth, Wind, and Fire on playing when I came inside. The fan was blowing because it was a little hot in there. She turned the AC down because she was in there working. So it really means a lot to me. And it pushes me more and motivates me more because I don't know, like a lot of my friends from high school I grew up with, or elementary, middle school, they'll be at the practices sometimes and they're like, hey man, I'll be out there, like, I'll come say hi, and I'm like, it's just a really cool feeling to be able to represent your hometown, and it pushes me to, give it my all because this is where I'm from, and, ultimately I live here and I'm gonna live here for the rest of my life, so, it means so much more to me.
Jonah, there's been a healthy give and take with the offense and defense so far during training camp. What are your thoughts on how the offense has been able to challenge you guys and push you guys in their potential?
It truly, like you said, it's a battle every day. We literally were just talking about it on the field as we were getting off, just attacking each other every day, and that's what's so important about football. It's a very unique sport. It's not like any other sport or job because we're actually going against our teammates. You could say trying to kill each other, but not within the confines of the game. And that's what really gets you better is iron sharpens iron, getting each other better every play. And then, being able to talk about, which I think is really cool, having a good relationship with those guys and being able to talk about it like, oh, what was that play? Like, what did y'all just do? Like, because I'm thinking it's one thing and then they're telling me it's another thing. I'm like, oh, okay, so now I know how that feels, so I know how to play it better. They'll ask me some things and I'll tell them, like, what gives it away and everything. And I think those relationships and understanding that builds, building that brotherhood and then also getting each other better is so important. And we're going at it every day. Chip Kelly, he been in the game since before I was born, and so he has archives in his brain. I feel like it just plays and what he's going to run, and you really don't know ever what he's about to throw at us. So it keeps us on our toes, and then when we attack them, they come back the next day with something new, and it's a great formula for success. That's what I say.
Jonah, there's obviously been a little bit of controversy outside of this building involving the defensive line. So what has that conversation been within your room of defensive linemen, just to keep that as outside noise and just to focus on what you got here?
The most important thing is just to control the controllables. Ignore the outside noise. There's always going to be outside noise. We're the Raiders. People are always going to have something to say about us, and just putting our heads down, just getting to work. No matter what nobody says, it's us versus the world. That's the mentality we have, and we're coming out here to compete this season.
How do you feel at different events with the SAC Summit and all, and putting on your own football camp? Not only how important is it for you to kind of reinvest in the community that brought you up, but also to gather your own experience from every resource and outlet you can as you develop?
I think it's really cool. The Raiders have a really great community engagement team. Shout out Piper and all of them. I tell them all the time, whenever you need me, I'm gonna be there for any community event, and then vice versa. Like, I asked for them to provide, they got me some drawstring backpacks for when I had my kids camp out here in my high school. It's really cool to be able to pour into the community because when I was that age, there wasn't really that many people from Vegas that, and we didn't have the team here. And now that we have the team here, being able to go show those kids that I'm a Vegas kid, I was in your guys' shoes. I remember being in this crazy city growing up, and people coming in town always wanting to go to the Fremont Street and the Strip, and you always got to go when you don't even want to for the 8th time, seeing the same thing, seeing people on the street sitting there. But growing up, I understand how that is, and to be able to be kind of like a symbol for the kids, it's crazy because I talked to my mom about it. She's explaining it to me. These kids look up to you, and I just think I'm still just regular me. I'm going into my second year. And I was just a rookie. I was just the one carrying the helmets from practice, everybody's helmets together, putting them on my head, holding 4 helmets in each hand, going to the locker room. But, I'm thinking I'm just regular old Jonah. But to these kids, it means a lot. And I can put it in my perspective because when I was their age, I had, DJ Campbell, Brandon Marshall. They came and talked to us, those guys, and went to high school. Brandon Marshall went to my high school. And then DJ Campbell, he came to my middle school and talked to us. He's a Vegas kid as well. He's now coaching at my old high school. And, that impact that they left on me, it meant the world to me because I remember them to this day, from when I was a kid, even if, they didn't do anything else after football or after they came and talked to us. I remember that interaction for the rest of my life. I thought it was super cool being able to see people, that I thought was cool. I wanted to play football ever since I was a kid, and to be able to see them in person, hear them talk to us, and, just show that it's possible. And for me to be able to do that, it means so much to me. It's super cool, and I'm gonna continue to do things for the community. You know, if y'all got any community things out here that you want to do, I'll come do it, show face, because you know, Vegas, my family, this is where I'm from.
You've mentioned that you have you struggled with imposter syndrome in your season a little bit, and every time we bring you up in a press conference, there's just been the most glowing things. Pete said you're doing everything right. Patrick Graham literally lit up like a Christmas tree, and Max said you don't even know how good you are. How much confidence does that give you that people are noticing the work that you're putting in?
I think it's just the mindset I've always had since I was younger. It's just I always felt like I had something to prove. I always wanted to be able to take care of my family. I always felt like I had a chip on my shoulder, and it's just a mindset of never being satisfied. You know, little victories here and there, you could be happy about that, pat yourself on the back or whatever, but you got to keep going to work, because nobody cares about what you did yesterday. Like, nobody cares about my rookie year or none of that. I didn't do anything, to be honest. So, you know, I'm just looking at what's next. Like, I want to, because I want to make a name for myself. I want to be able to be a dominant player in this league, and for me to even think about being complacent or anything like that, when I'm next to players like Max Crosby, Adam Butler, all these guys, E-Rob, all them, D. White, to try to get complacent and think, okay, I'm running with them with the ones or whatever. Like, I never think about that. Think about it like that, because I want to be, you know, a guy. I want to be that guy, and if you want to be that guy, you got to put that work in. And so, I think I've always just had good coaches, good people around me, good relationships with my teammates, and you know, the closer we get, the harder we play for one another. And I think it's just having that mindset of always putting your head down and going to work, because you know, tomorrow's not guaranteed, and that's with whatever you do in life. If you're a chef, if you're a maid, if you clean yards or anything like that, like, you know, tomorrow's not guaranteed. So you know, you got to put that work in every day and treat it like it's your last opportunity. Because at the end of the day, this is a great opportunity. I'm here in my hometown. I have no complaints. I'm absolutely blessed. So for me to, you know, take that for granted, I'll probably regret that for the rest of my life. So I'll never take this for granted. And I'll continue to give this my all, so I can, you know, do it for my brothers to the left and the right of me, to my family, and then, you know, my Vegas people out here.
And being
Let's
someone
do
that
one more.
struggles with imposter syndrome, how do those comments make you feel, and how does that give you confidence?
I feel like, I know some people have that confidence where they don't have, like, you know, they feel like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be here, I'm supposed to be there. Like, you know, I feel like I'm not supposed to be here, and you know, through the grace of God and my hard work, I got to be here. You know, like, it's pretty, I feel like it'd be pretty easy to have imposter syndrome being next to Max Crosby. Like, y'all see my practice, he be doing some crazy stuff. Like, you can't teach the stuff he does. And, I mean, same with AB, like, seeing those guys and see how sharpened they are within the game, and, you know, their skill and their mindset, and just knowing what the offense is about to do. Like, AB would ask me something like, did you hear what they said? Like, what is this? I'm like, bro, no, I didn't hear that. Like, I did not know that's what they meant when they said that. And so, like, it's just, there's levels to the game, and there's still a little, you know, imposter syndrome here and there, but I think that keeps me humble and keeps me, you know, wanting to continue to get better, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what I want to do, is continue to get better every day, because I know I'm not anywhere near being a finished product, and I know I'm nowhere near being, you know, the best I can be. So, you know, I'm excited to see, you know, how training camp goes, continuing to work and get better at, you know, what I want to get better at, and, you know, when we get to the first game this year, you know, going out there and just doing our thing.
Awesome.
Thanks, Jonah.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, Jonah.
Thanks, guys.